What's up, Wastelanders? I'm Ian Higton, and this is Fallout Friday. Coming up on this week's show, there'll be no snazzy editing because I'm in a hotel room in Cologne, Germany for this year's Gamescom, and I'm super tired and I have to be up really early for an interview tomorrow. Yay! I went to watch Gamescom's exclusive Fallout 4 gameplay demo and saw some stuff, and I'm going to tell you what that stuff was. And Bethesda confirms that there will be no level cap in Fallout 4. So yeah, the Gamescom presentation was exclusive to attendees of the show. That means all I can do is show you the same old gameplay we've seen loads of times before, but I can tell you about all the cool things I saw, a couple of which are super duper brand new. The demo started with a quick intro from Todd Howard, and then it jumped straight into a tutorial video about the strength skill, presented in the style of a black and white cartoon. It raised a few laughs during one part where a super mutant used a minigun to shred the Vault Boy into bloody chunks. After that, the presentation went on to talk about the new way the specials will work. Now, I've covered the new way perks and skills work in detail on last week's Fallout Friday, so if you want to hear more about those, you should totally go and watch it after you've finished with this. The gameplay demo started proper after the specials chat, and we were told we were about to watch an extended chunk of some of the gameplay shown at QuakeCon, and that it was taking place in a town called Lexington. The player enters the town with Colin the dog running just in front of him. They run past a Red Rocket gas station, but they don't go inside it, so I can't confirm whether or not it houses a place to customise your equipment. The theory is that each Red Rocket station is a place to customise your character and armour. The first thing that struck me was how bright it all was. There's clear blue skies and vivid colours, and the roads are overgrown with weeds, and the shells of rusted vehicles litter the streets. The buildings are also rusted, and I've heard complaints about the graphics not being brilliant, but I thought it looked really nice, and I was actually really impressed by just how bright and colourful it was. All of a sudden, feral ghouls begin pouring out of the walls and running towards the player. They're really fast, and with each hit landed, the player loses health and gains rad points. The player then starts shooting the limbs from a ghoul with a laser rifle. First one arm, then the other. The ghoul keeps attacking even though his arms are on the floor, and he doesn't stop until his legs are shot away. The action then moves to another part of the town. The player discovers and then enters a super duper mart. In the doorway is a Protectron in a charging station. The player then hacks into a terminal to release the Protectron. Now, the hacking was done in a couple of seconds, but it looked pretty much identical to the hacking in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. With the Protectron out and patrolling the store, the player then goes to pick a lock. This is again identical to the way it's done in previous games. Suddenly, ghouls start attacking again, and the player fights back using a scattered laser musket that needs to be hand-cranked between each shot. We transition again to the outside, and we see the player make their way to the Core Vega assembly plant. This section was completely new and wasn't in the QuakeCon presentation at all. Inside, we can hear raiders talking to each other as the player sneaks through the building. The player then starts attacking. He headshots a raider in VATS, and the raider's head explodes into little bits. The demo continues, and we get to have a really good look at the combat, which seems a lot faster than in previous Fallout games, especially now that VATS doesn't stop time completely. It also looks like the player wasn't relying on VATS as much as normal because the combat has now been finely tuned. From here on in, there is an extended battle scene as ghouls break into the building, attacking not only the player but the raiders as well. A few barrels got blown up, sending enemies flying, and then we got a quick glimpse at the new Quick Weapon Select tool. It was only on the screen for about 4 seconds, but the Quick Select tool appears in the bottom right corner of the HUD, and it's in the form of a cross, 4 slots up and 4 slots across. On the vertical slot were guns, and from the horizontal slot the player chose a grenade to throw, so I'm guessing that the horizontal will hold things like grenades, stim packs, radaway, equipment basically. The player also went into the Pip-boy to manually select weapons at times during the demo, but it did look like the Quick Weapon Select was a great way of equipping yourself really quickly, especially for things like grenades in the heat of a battle. During this section we also got to see the player picking up a Grognak the Barbarian comic. In previous games, finding this skill book permanently increased your melee skill points. The demo ended on a huge fight against raiders outside. The player was joined by some Brotherhood of Steel knights who were dropped in via a gunship, which ends up crashing into a building. And finally, the presentation ended with the player finding some mini nukes, which he loaded into a Fat Man launcher and then used to defeat a behemoth super mutant. All in all, it was a great presentation. It didn't disappoint me at all. I liked the fast pace of the combat. Everything looked awesome. And yeah, I hope they release this gameplay demo to the public soon, because everyone should see it. It's really cool.
Perhaps I can whip you up a snack? You must be famished.
In other news, Bethesda's gone and blown up the internet by breaking with series tradition and omitting the level cap. That means you'll be able to level up forever and ever, and now there'll never be a reason to stop playing the game. Furthermore, you'll be able to keep exploring after wrapping up the main campaign. Over on Twitter, the developer stated, "To our fans who've asked, Fallout 4 doesn't end when the main story is over, and there is no level cap. You can keep playing and leveling." As you probably already know, Fallout 3's conclusion was rather controversial, as its original ending didn't allow you to continue exploring. This was later patched with a new final act that allowed players to continue their adventure after the end credits had rolled. Fellow Eurogamer Jeffrey Matchaliff wrote this all up in a news post on our website, and even quickly listed the level caps for previous Fallout games because he's nice like that. It turns out the original Fallout had a level cap of 21. Fallout 2, Fallout Tactics and Fallout Brotherhood of Steel had 99. Fallout 3 had a level cap of 20, which went up to level 30 with the Broken Steel add-on. And finally, Fallout New Vegas had a level cap of 30, which was raised to 50 by the additional 4 add-ons. So that's your lot. There was a load of info in this episode, so I hope that makes up for the rather lazy edit. It'll be back to normal next week though, I promise. Right, I'm shattered, and if I don't go to bed soon, my brain will melt. Come on, Colin, I'll let you sleep on the bed just this once because I'm tired and in a foreign country, but don't you dare lick my face while I'm sleeping. That's proper grim.